Jacob is the insurance guy for Utah. And if he's not your insurance guy and you're in Utah, you're probably making a mistake.
Let me tell you, everyone hates insurance, and no one hates insurance more than me, the guy who works in insurance.
If you look for opportunities, you'll find opportunities.
His daughter getting in a car accident, falling asleep at the wheel in California. I just called Jacob and he told me what to do.
I had been shooketh when I was learning about the exotic car hacks. You can insure a Porsche for $100 a month.
Hurricanes in Florida and wildfires in California do affect Utah.
If you say you're going to do something, do it.
It's not the end of the world. It's just, if she had contacted me, I could have walked her through that 5 weeks earlier.
This episode's gonna go viral now.
Which is just insane.
Welcome back to Base Business with Parker McCumber. I'm here today with Jacob Johnson, who longtime listeners might recall was our very first podcast guest.
A very long time ago.
Yeah, it's actually been years. So if you don't know the story with Base Business, I'll just be very frank with you. We started filming on a webcam in my home office.
Like a C920 or something.
With like some cheap $20 Amazon mics. Production quality sucked. We made 3 episodes, didn't like them. I posted them. I did post them, but they were bad and they didn't gain traction. And so I got embarrassed and I stopped doing it. Because it's not something I can be proud of, I don't really want to do it. So I want to do my best on whatever I do. Came back a couple years later and I started doing informational episodes again, where I was teaching concepts that people learn in business school. I was trying to help starting entrepreneurs learn what they needed to learn to just go out and be successful. And that was really boring because it was just me talking and I was like using PowerPoint.
Yeah. It wasn't that bad.
But the third attempt has been all conversational, all interview based. We bring on people who are professionals in their field, who are experts. We bring on entrepreneurs. We talk about who they are, what they do, why it matters. All in the lens of helping somebody who's just starting out, who's learning, right? Can we teach them about money? Can we teach them about investing in themselves? Can we teach them about how to operate a business effectively? And if we can do those things, then we can help a starting entrepreneur and we can be net positive contributors to the business society. I mean, that's kind of the goal now.
The goal is to be all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes. To paraphrase the great contemporary philosopher Sia, I'm a Porsche with no brakes. Actually, that's not a paraphrase. That's just a direct quote.
I think it was a great paraphrase.
So we've come full circle. I'm back here with Jacob Johnson. Jacob is the insurance guy for Utah. And if he's not your insurance guy and you're in Utah, you're probably making a mistake.
Probably.
So Jacob, introduce yourself real quick. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, well, I am Jacob Johnson. A lot of people know me as the Financial Ginger. I am the insurance agent that is known for picking up his phone, which I've had a lot of people comment to me recently, like, isn't that the bare minimum for an insurance agent?
Yes,
and you would think it's the bare minimum.
But it's
until
not.
You're trying to get a hold of your agent for 3 weeks to add your car, and you're like, am I covered? What happens if this car gets totaled? My agent hasn't called me back for 3 weeks. I've emailed them, I've texted them. I stopped by their office and they moved and they never told me. Like,
yeah.
I have heard crazy stories. People are calling me like frantic about whatever. And yeah, so that's what I'm known for. It's what I built my name around. I have my own podcast, Financial Ginger. I also have social media. It's all under Jacob Insures Utah. So there's a lot of stuff I'm involved in. Got a great team that supports me. 7 agents right now. I'm working on getting an 8th in the near future. And it's just all service. As the great Timmy No Brakes says, all gas, no brakes.
So let me tell you real quick, personal vouch before we jump into the content, the meat and the potatoes here. I've referred many friends and clients to Jacob at this point, just because
employees.
and employees, because they'll make a comment to me about, I got a new car, I'm trying to get insurance, the guy's not picking up, or they'll make a comment about, I just don't know if my rate's that good. And every time I do this weird demonstration, I'll pick up my phone and I'll call Jacob right away just to see if he picks up, because he's always going to pick up. And then I can be like, look, he answered first time right here. Like, yeah, this is your guy. Yeah, right on, man. Okay. So insurance, what's the skinny, man?
What's the skinny on insurance?
Why do people need it?
Well, they wish they didn't. Let me tell you, everyone hates insurance, and no one hates insurance more than me, the guy who works in insurance. So insurance has changed so much over the last couple of years. Like everyone's rates have gone up like 50% over the last 2 to 3 years. I mean, right. We've talked about it as I've read your insurance. So there's been more and more just volume of everyone, every agent I know, right?
Well, you have price volatility, and that inspires people to go check and shop more. And
yeah, so it's just been so crazy right now. And then the other part of it, besides pricing, is Utah's insurance market has shifted in 2 ways. Insurance carriers don't want to take on new business right now. Like they just don't want. Like I've had some insurance companies where like they have called me and been like, we don't want you to write new business. Right? We'll let you. We just don't want you to. And you'll know because you'll run quotes and you'll be like, this rate is $100 a month more than anyone else. Like they just don't want it. Or they're like, we don't want young people. It's like if someone's under 25, like they've adjusted their algorithms and it's just, the rate's going to suck. We just don't want to deal with teenagers anymore. And it's like, what is going on? I've actually had 4 insurance carriers completely leave the state of Utah. They just like canceled every single person.
Wow.
Auto, home insurance. They're like, we're out. Kemper left the state of Utah. State Auto, Meridian left the state of Utah. Casualty Underwriters actually got shut down by the state of Utah. They're actually based in Georgia. They're still in other states, but they did something that Utah didn't like and they said, you're done. And then California Casualty pulled out. So they're just like, nope, you're done. And there's a few other companies that like still exist, like Stillwater. But yeah, they don't, or here's what they'll do. If they're like a non-standard company that specializes with like high risk drivers that have 2 DUIs and 3 traffic tickets, they'll require like a 1-year pay in full. They won't even offer a monthly payment. And a lot of people in situations like that aren't able to do that.
Yeah, but you don't really have an option.
Exactly. It's a way of incentive saying we don't want you. And so there's more people shopping insurance than ever. And all these insurance companies saying it's hard and they don't want to write new business. And it's just creating this like.
So let me ask, why is that happening?
Two things that have happened recently. The first one is August 2024. There was that hailstorm that was absolutely dramatic and crazy here in Utah. It was over $1 billion in estimated damages. I think it's total to being higher than that. It's the largest single home claim event, and auto combined in the history of Utah. And that is one thing. So on the home side, that's why homes.
But that's not necessarily a frequent.
No, it's
thing,
not.
You know,
the other part is, and everyone hates when
it's not like we're living below the levee,
but. No, correct. But some people are. Like if you're trying to get flood insurance and you're like right on the Jordan River Trail in, Lehigh, I've seen flood insurance policies be like $12,000 when most people's are like $300, right? Like they're like, you're too close to the river. We don't want you. But if you're right, we're not. Like the last major flooding event was in 1985 or 86, and that was in Vineyard where I grew up. Right, that was all flooded, and then they built a bunch of houses there 2 years afterwards, like in 86 to 88 after the flood. Like that was the last major flooding event that occurred in Utah, which was 40 years ago. Like it's just. So I'm not sure. But the other thing, and this is what people hate hearing, is the world kind of has its risk bundled together. So insurance companies don't actually take all of your risks directly. So like, let's say you have insurance, you have maximum limits, a $500,000 policy, just rounding it. You have $1 million umbrella. You hit someone, speeding, going through a red light, someone dies, right? The policy pays the full $1.5 million, $1.6 million. What happens is the insurance company doesn't pay that entire amount directly. They actually have their own insurance companies. Insurance companies have reinsurance companies. And the insurance companies, those reinsurance companies, all they do is insure insurance companies. They don't insure you, they insure insurance companies. So, and they have different ways of paying out. So it's almost like having a HOA association, right? Like you have your own policy.
Yeah, sub HOA and a master HOA.
Exactly. So they pay a portion and then they pay a bigger portion. But usually how it is it's a really high deductible. Like it'll be like $300,000 their minimum, or it's like 80% or whatever, or of a certain amount. And once it passes a certain amount, the reinsurance company pays the entire amount. Like your insurance carrier doesn't even pay a penny. That's not very common, but anyway. So long story short of that is there's only a few reinsurance companies. There's not nearly as many reinsurance companies that are actual insurance carriers. And a lot of them go back to the same. Lloyd's of London is the biggest reinsurance company and actually insurance company in the world. And they are involved in just about anything. Like just about anything that you can insure is involved, like historical art down to, motorcycles or mopeds, right? Like everything gets reinsured through them.
Sure.
I don't know exactly how much work. So the point of that is hurricanes in Florida and wildfires in California do affect Utah.
Yeah.
Storms in Haiti, right? Like all that sort of stuff, tsunamis that hit Japan, they do affect your rates. It might not be as dramatic as when Utah has bigger claims, but
Sure, but it's just kicking the can down the road.
because when they have losses, they have to adjust for risks.
Well, not to get too political here.
yeah. And I hate insurance companies. Don't worry, they're trying to make money.
It's all freaking dirty socialism.
Insurance is socialism.
Insurance is just socialism.
Yeah. When it's required, right? When you're legally required to have it, which that's a problem is auto insurance, you legally have to have to
But
drive.
I mean, and I'm talking about exactly what you said just a minute ago. It's all bundled together.
Yeah.
Well, and the issue with that, for example, like Jacob gets in a car accident. Jacob's rate goes up with his carrier, but let's say that reinsurance company pays in. Well, now that reinsurance company has to charge the insurance company more, and it just gets kicked down the can. But then I'm paying higher rates too, because I'm paying for, like you said, your insurance is bundled together. I'm paying for the overall policy
Well,
like everybody else.
So when you see Utah's population has exploded, people are like, oh, well, there's less accidents per capita than there used to be. Well, that was true for a couple of years, like 2018, 2019, 2020.
Sure, but eventually it catches up.
But now it's catch up and it's past the same per capita amount. Like, dude, I commute from Spanish to American Fork and I see car accidents almost every single day of the week and twice on Sundays. You know, like it's just, there's so many. Or I had one day, first day of snow last year in 2024, I had 4 multi-car accidents on the way to work. And that's a 20-minute drive. Like, it was crazy. One of them was 4 cars. You know, it's just, people are also driving crazier than ever. But aside, one of the reasons why your insurance carrier does matter is the reinsurance companies do look at the loss profiles of those to adjust those rates that they charge, and the insurance carriers can adjust it too. So you do have an insurance company that's a little bit more uptight about their underwriting, right? We don't want people that have had DUIs. We don't want people that have had major tickets. It can improve your rate. So it's usually worth shopping. I tell people you should be shopping every 3 years. You should be shopping with 3 different agents. I actually have agents that I refer people to and say, hey, go get rates with this person as well. Or I'll see certain things about your risk profile, like you're in a high wildfire risk area for your home insurance. Here's 2 companies I don't write for. Go talk to them. Because I don't care. If I do good for people, do good, but get good. That's what I say. It's my catchphrase in the last 2 weeks. So do good to people. They're going to get good, and it's going to get good for yourself. And so who cares? Like if I do that, they go somewhere else. Guess who they're calling next year when their insurance rates change? Financial Ginger.
That's it.
That's what's going to happen every time. So I don't care to send business away because I want what's best for them, and people are going to trust me for that.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about Financial Ginger too. We talked a lot about insurance right here. Dude, you got a show.
Yeah, I got a show. I mean, how much should I say?
Go off.
Sweet.
Pop off, King. Help other people.
So Parker obviously is the owner of the studio here, Rookery Studios in Orem. It's awesome. And after he, because you've been doing the podcast, you had your own podcast, you were doing it. It's like, it just makes sense. Like, I'm going to be doing this every day, basically. You're filming. Might as well buy a studio. Like, so you did.
Well, let me share the theory with that. Sorry to interrupt, but let's just teach the concept here that I'm pursuing. So all of us have dreams, aspirations, a lifestyle that we want to achieve in certain ways, right? And for me, I wanted to get into cool cars. Every little boy had, the Lamborghini poster, the Porsche poster. Like when I was a kid, I had a Porsche 911 poster. That was the dream car. And one day, my dad had brought home one of his partner's cars, just borrowing it, whatever. It was a Porsche 911. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. You go for a little ride in it. And it just kind of reaffirmed that dream. But sports cars, exotic cars, performance cars, they're expensive, right? So a lot of people view those as they're a loss, they're a liability, right? So my mind gets going, how can I make this profitable? How can I monetize this aspect of my life? And there's this concept that I really believe in, and it sounds so simple, but it's totally true. When you look for something, you'll find it. If you look for opportunities, you'll find opportunities. If you look for ways to monetize, you'll monetize. So I'm looking for, this is back in 2018, 2019, how can I drive cars, cool cars, exotic cars, and not lose money on them? And that eventually led me to a group on Facebook called Exotic Car Hacks. I get into Exotic Car Hacks. They teach a course on how to essentially buy used exotic and performance and luxury cars, not lose money on them, and then resell them, get your money back out, and roll it into the next car. So I go through, I learn what they're teaching, and I try it. And I remember I was so scared. I went to my wife and I was like, hey, Emmy, I want to do this. She's like, well, what's the cost? I'm like, I'm going to take a bunch of money out of savings and retirement account and I'm going to buy a Porsche. And she's like, well,
three.
Well, at the time it's just one. I was just going to try it.
Oh, sorry. I jumped too far in the future.
And she's like, well, you haven't bankrupted us yet. I'll trust you.
Dang.
And I'm just as a side note, it is so reassuring to have a partner that just supports and trusts you. And I'm not saying they just go with you for anything, but to look at the track record and be like, okay, you've been successful. I know that you're a logical individual and you're not doing something that's irrational. Okay, if you think you can pull this off, take a shot.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's been other times where she's been more cautious or been more right. Or been more I don't think this is a good choice or whatnot, right? It's good to have that.
I go and I put the minimum down payment that I could, so the least cash possible, and I financed a 2016 Porsche GT3 RS. I bought that car in 2019 for my birthday. Yeah, my birthday gift. And I ended up holding that car for 18 months, maybe just under 2 years. And I sold that car 2 years later for $215,000.
How much did you pay for it originally?
Just over 150 with taxes and tags. Oh yeah. So I netted $60,000 profit.
Wow.
So not only did I not lose money on the car,
you made a ton.
I made a ton of money on the car.
That's pretty impressive.
But okay, so you're thinking about ways to monetize your life. If you have a goal, a dream, an aspiration, if you like something, find a way to monetize it. Mm-hmm. So that concept
over 2 years, think about that. You're being paid $30,000 a year to
own and drive an exotic car. So I was like, that's really cool. Then I took that policy or that premise, and I'm like, okay, let's 10X. Do it. Let's do it for real estate.
Oh,
so I started doing it for real estate, and then it was okay. I've monetized real estate, and I'm monetizing cars. And the thing about the cars was you get that $60,000 back, but it's not just the $60,000 back. It was also your original down payment.
Yeah.
Because you're not holding the car for the duration of the loan, right? So the only money you really lose is the insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is, peas and carrots.
Cash flow.
And actually, we should talk about that in a minute because people might be interested. So we'll put a pin in it. Yep. But insurance rates aren't that bad for exotic cars. They're actually better, and we'll get into it.
Yeah.
But so I take the concept of how do I monetize this area of my life. I plug it into cars, into homes. Cars eventually leads me to luxury watches, timepieces.
You got me into that.
Dude, awesome play. The podcast was just an extension. So I was interested in content creation. I know that it's necessary for me to build my brand and my audience and position myself as an authority. So I start doing it, and I was building a home studio. I was spending money on cameras. I was spending money on lights. I was spending money on soundproof panels. I was spending money on a videographer. I was spending money on the editing. And I'm like, my production cost per episode was just climbing. And it had got to the point where I was probably spending $500 to $600 to produce a podcast episode. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got to find a more cost-effective way, especially at the time I had monetized it, but I didn't know I had monetized it yet. Yeah, it was one of those things where I hadn't clicked that's where the clients, they were telling me they were even coming from there, but I hadn't realized doing that and investing in the quality was what was the tipping point to generate that.
Yeah.
So I'm I got to find a way to better this situation. And I think it was, the end of the summer, Jimmy Rex, For people that are familiar with him, Utah entrepreneur, one of like the top 100 real estate agents in the nation. But he owned the studio before me. And he had listed it for sale and just made a post on Facebook and was like, hey, do I have any friends who might be interested in this? And I'm like, Jimmy over here. So
pick me.
And actually it took him, like I blew him up on every channel. I messaged him on Facebook. I messaged him on Instagram. I messaged him on LinkedIn. And I didn't get a response back.
Oh my God.
And I tried to follow up a week later and I didn't get a response back. And I was like, hey man, is anybody like, are you serious about selling this? He's like, oh, sorry, I'm already talking to somebody else about it. And they fell through. Now, the thing is for me, this is a good rule for life, perhaps. If you say you're going to do something, fucking do it. Pardon my French, but I'm underscoring the severity of this. If you come to the table and you are going to make a deal, make the deal. Be a man of your word. So if you tell somebody, I'm good for it, you better be good for it. And you show up and you do the thing. To the point, like, just to be very honest about it, I've made bad deals because I've said I was going to make the deal. Because it's worth more to me to be the honest, the man of integrity.
It's going to come back later.
Correct. So what if I lose a few $1,000s on something? So what? I'm going to be known as the guy who makes the freaking deal and who does right by the people that he does business with, even if it comes at personal expense. So the guy who was trying to buy the studio couldn't make the deal happen. Said he was going to make the deal happen, didn't make the deal happen. So I said, Jimmy, I'll make the deal happen. That was it. And like, obviously,
and here we are.
Well, we jumped through hoops, right? I mean, and stuff doesn't always pan out. It's not as easy. Like, I'm talking to the lender, and the lender's like, oh yeah, we can get you approved for the whole thing. Like, just put 10% down. It's not going to be a big deal. They can't get you approved for crap, man. And then the appraisal comes back, and they appraise the building is less than what you expect it to be, and the market demand is evaporated. So everything about it just became harder. And I'm like, whatever. I'll go sell some cars. I'll pay cash.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
going to make this happen.
I said I was going to make the deal work, so I make the deal work. And dude, what a freaking blessing that has been in my life, by the way. So I think about it in terms of the studio, right? We've essentially doubled the revenue of the studio since buying it.
Yeah.
And with that, it's like we've also, I can't remember, like I said it in October when I had looked at the numbers then. Bart and I have gotten more leads. We got more leads in the first month of business here than I think what had previously been done in like the last 12 months before we bought it. So I'm like, we got in here and what an opportunity it was for us to come in and grow and to pair it, the offering with my coaching business. So thinking about ways to monetize life, that's where the studio came from. I was podcasting. I was using it to generate business for coaching. How do I monetize that aspect of my life? It was the studio, because now I have a way higher production quality and I have the rooms that I can rent out, right? So I'm helping other people. I can use it. I can tier it up now to help people with coaching and coach them on their content development. Bart and I are in the lab constantly working on ways to help entrepreneurs position themselves better now.
Bart texts me like twice a week being like, oh, hey, here's an idea that Parker and I have been thinking about that should help. Oh, hey, here's an idea. Do this. Hey, you need to do this ASAP, blah, blah, blah. Like this. And it's like, oh, and it's good to know.
So I'm an experience junkie, but I'm an experience junkie, not necessarily for adrenaline, but for like, how do I try everything? How do I learn everything? And so getting into the studio now was like the gateway for me to go learn way more about how do social media algorithms actually work? What content is being promoted versus depositioned? Like how am I optimizing for each individual platform? What do they want to see when it comes to like your frame rate per second? What do they want to see when it comes to the text that you use? Hashtags are still relevant? Yes or no? Some platforms, yes. Some platforms, so getting into all of that. And I kind of nerd out on it because it just gives me something to dive into. So that's why we got to the studio, was monetizing every aspect of your life. I hope that you can figure out how to monetize every aspect of your life.
Love it.
Crazy talk. Okay, let's talk about insurance on exotic cars for a second, because it came up, and I don't want to get too far away from it. I was shooketh. I had been shooketh when I was learning about the exotic car hacks stuff. They're like, dude, you can insure a Porsche for $100 a month. I'm like, at the time I had an F-150, and I'm like, I think my insurance on this is like $180 a month.
Yeah, it was like 150 or 160.
Yeah, but I'm like, well, you're telling me I can insure an actual race car for less than the cost of insuring my truck? And the answer was yes. Yeah. Yes, I could.
Well, I think the McLaren you had for a while, that one was only like 140 or 150 a month.
No, the McLaren's a bad example. That was
that one was probably the most expensive one. Yeah. I'm probably thinking of the other one you had at the same. Was it the Aston Martin? Maybe?
The Aston Martin, really affordable.
Cheap. Yeah.
I actually think
we're talking like $200,000, $300,000 cars, or $150,000 on some of them, and it's like, yeah, right. Like the one you sold for $200. I think we had that one insured stated value for like $180 or $190, and it's like, yeah, it's $100 a month. Yeah, it's $150 a month.
It was I'm pretty sure it was $100 a month.
They're not bad at all.
I think the Aston Martin's like 110 or above. It was before the rates went up.
Yeah, before the rates.
So like
changed.
when we had got it, I'm like, holy smokes, man! Like, I'm not even.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, not even $150 on these supercars.
There's some that are really bad, right? Like I tell people to stay away from Lamborghini Urus. Those ones are very, very expensive.
That's actually not too bad either.
Yeah.
So I've got an Urus S. We insure it through Cambria with State Farm. So that's someone you referred us to. I can't remember if I'm paying it for the year in full or if I'm paying it in 6 months in full.
I think it was a year, and I think it was like $6,000.
Yes, that is what it is.
Yeah.
So
just over
200.
It's like
$500 a month. $500 a month.
Yeah. Which, I mean, obviously you're right. It's a Lamborghini Urus. It's a really valuable car, but I think your Huracan's cheaper than that.
It is. So
I think the Huracan's just over 200 or something like that, or 210.
Yeah, the Huracan I think is $4,000 for the year.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm like
just over 300.
Yeah, just over $300.
But either way, they're a lot more cheap, affordable than you'd think, especially when you're like, I have an $80,000 truck that's $150 or $200 a month. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, let's scale that 5x the value. The insurance isn't 5x the price.
No.
Yeah, and that's because they assume, right? A lot of the companies that insure them,
well, like the Mustang, for example,
driven as frequently.
So think about this: the Mustang and the Aston Martin. I actually think they're great comparisons.
Yeah. Let's
say the Mustang before I modded it out.
Yeah.
Because I turned that Mustang into a Super Venom, and it is sick. But that Mustang I bought, it was $50,000, right? V8, manual transmission, rear wheel drive.
I love
the Aston Martin, V8, manual transmission, rear wheel drive. They vary in MSRP. Like the Mustang is a fourth of the MSRP as the Aston Martin, right? So a $50,000 car versus an original $200,000 car. Which one has higher insurance? It's the Mustang.
Super Venom. Mm-hmm.
Well, before it was a Super Venom even. As a base $50,000 car, higher insurance.
Yep.
Why? Now, to my understanding, it's the volume and the frequency that type of vehicle is in accidents.
Yep.
So insurance carriers look at that and they're like, well, Mustangs are way more likely to be in an accident than an Aston Martin. So they jack up the cost on the Mustangs.
Unless you're 55 years old. Let me tell you, some of the cheapest cars I've insured had been brand new Mustangs on men in their 50s.
So, well, I mean, obviously it's like you said, your risk profile is all bundled together. They look, dude, 50-year-old men are probably pretty low risk.
Go through a middle life crisis. They buy a fancy sports car.
Yeah,
they
but they're not crazy, irresponsible people. You know,
they've had a couple kids. Then they sell it 2 years later. But that's the typical. So yeah, they absolutely look at your age, driving. A few things to note on exotic cars that I really want to point out for people that are listening is usually some exotic cars, they want you to have 5 or sometimes even 10 years of experience in driving supercars and exotic cars before they'll insure you for it.
The
so
McLaren, that's where we had an issue with the McLaren.
Yep, because of your age. I think you were like 30 or 31 at the time when you got that one, maybe even 29.
Maybe 29 or 30, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, McLarens are such a high risk. They're like the number one loss for insurance companies. Most insurance carriers that do exotic cars won't even touch a McLaren.
Yeah.
They're like, we want you to have 10 years of driving experience, driving exotic cars, not just, right, get your license at 16, you're 26, it's 10 years. No, it's like, we want you to have 10 years of driving experience in exotic cars that you have personally owned.
Yeah.
And they accepted you with like 3 or 4, but that's because you had several other cars.
No, I argued I had 10. I argued I had 10 plus.
Oh, because they considered the...
In 2012, I purchased a Pontiac Firebird.
Yes. And they considered that exotic enough.
Well, performance. It was a performance car. Over 300 horsepower, rear wheel drive, right? So we talked about that. And then I went from the Pontiac Firebird into the Toyota Focus ST.
Yep. And ST
and that's
somehow
a performance car
enough for them. Yeah.
Well, so it wasn't initially, but I'm like, well, hold on. I'm like, those are the cars that I learned how to drive on track.
Oh,
I had track experience with
track
them.
experience in them. Yes.
So I was like, I'm taking these, they qualify as performance vehicles. I'm taking these performance vehicles. I'm getting professional coaching on track with them. So that helped. And then I was like, I had bought, the Porsche was the first one in 2019. So the GT3 RS, that's a legit supercar.
Yep.
So I'm like, I had driving experience on that. That led into another 911 and the Aston Martin. I'm like, okay, so I've got more supercar ownership and experience there. I had gone to the Porsche Experience Center in Los Angeles and gotten like professional coaching and driving there.
That was when you had
track
that
time.
Tesla claim too. I remember because you called me while you were there because that guy sideswiped you. Anyways,
so I explained. We ended up talking to the underwriter because nobody would touch it, and the Haggerty eventually escalated it to an underwriter.
They told me no like 3 times, and then you called them afterwards.
Yeah, and I was able to escalate it. I was able to get to the underwriter, and I was able to talk to the underwriter about like, look, dude, I've been driving exotic cars since 2012. It's been a decade.
Yeah.
Or not exotic cars,
9
but
years.
performance vehicles. I was like, I'm married. I'm low risk. I've never been in an accident. Like, I had all of the check boxes to make it happen. I just had to essentially plead my case a little bit. And I think the thing that really actually helped sell, or at least what the underwriter seemed to be interested in, was that I had professional driving instruction.
Yeah.
I had been to courses. I had taken track time with coaches. And because I had done those things, he was like, okay, you're not. The thing about McLarens, they depreciate really fast, really hard. So a young man, a sales bro perhaps, shout out to the sales bros, goes and does summer sales. Maybe he makes 150, 200 grand. He can go buy a McLaren outright.
Yeah.
Just go pay cash. He goes and buys his McLaren for 100 grand, 100 G's, gets a 570S, a used 570S. Now, that's a twin turbo V8 on a sub 3,000 pound body.
They're so light compared to their weight. I mean,
it's a carbon fiber chassis, but because of that, every accident, any fender bender,
is basically a total loss.
Is basically a total loss.
I remember this. They said that on some McLarens, they've been in 5-mile-an-hour accidents and been totaled.
So what happens is you get these young men, maybe there's some young women out there. I'm not going to, genderize you, but they get these young men with no supercar driving experience whatsoever.
And they're 20 or 21.
They're in their low, early 20s.
Maybe even 19.
So they're a little bit adrenaline-seeking, thrill-seeking, higher risk profile individuals anyways. They buy a car that has 500-plus horsepower, rear-wheel drive, twin turbos, and they launch this sub-3,000-pound rocket. And the thing is, man, you might think you're in control of that vehicle while the turbo is spooling up. But the second those turbos punch, you're gone. You're a rocket. And these kids launch themselves into street poles. They launch themselves into stop signs. They launch themselves into cars in front of them. Because they don't know how to handle a car like that. They don't know what it's going to do. They have no experience with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not out here to trash on the early 20 crowd. I'm like, but I can totally understand and see why
insurance companies
won't touch that, because then you get even the cheapest McLarens, right? In $100,000, $115,000 used vehicle that's totaled really quickly by someone who just didn't know how to handle it.
Yep.
Moral of the story, buy Porsches.
Yeah.
Volkswagen Group.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. Or Go for like an Audi A7. That's got some kick to it. If you're younger.
Come on, Jacob. Come on, man.
I mean, you're talking to a guy that drove a Prius.
Guy.
I drove a Prius for 4 years, and now I drive a Tesla, which I like. But my dream car is an International Harvester Scout.
Dude, we love Scouts. You like the new Scouts? The Scouts coming back?
No, I don't like them.
You don't like them?
Don't like them.
Why not?
I don't know. Don't like them.
Okay.
I like that. I
really like the body
square
style.
bodies. I like the square bodies.
They got them, man.
Ultra square.
Look at the.
Do I need to pull them up and look?
No, yeah. Look at the new Scouts. So I think they've got two models that are set to release. They've got a truck and they've got the it's essentially an electric.
Is it International Harvester, or is it someone else?
I think it's just Scout.
Or it's a new company called Scout Motors.
Well, it's not new. It's International Harvester owned Scout Motors previously, to my understanding.
Gotcha. I thought they just released it as International Harvester. Oh, I'm seeing it. It gives me Rivian vibes.
It does give Rivian
okay,
vibes.
the second one. The second
the
one's
SUV
fine.
though, I like the SUV's look, the aesthetic.
No, I could get behind it.
Big bench seat in front.
Oh, the bench seat. That's what I. Okay, you know what? Looking at that, I could do it. But something about getting a vintage car.
Oh, I agree.
And this is in the same. Just to bring up the insurance side of it, just like exotics and high performance vehicles have specialized insurance that can oftentimes be way cheaper than you'd think. Vintage cars.
Oh, for sure.
Can be way
It goes right back to that same policy. They're not in accidents anymore.
You're talking like we're talking so astronomically cheap. I have someone that has a Vanagon, like one of those it's a lot of people convert them into campers now. If you convert a camper, it makes it a whole different animal. And it's like $150 a year.
Oh, doggy.
A year to insure it. And because they've got the antique plates, they only, at least in Utah, they only have to re-register it every 2 years or 3 years instead of every single year. There's all sorts of stuff. I have some people that have old 56 Chevelles and 62 Firebirds and things like that are they're not super valuable cars. A lot of these cars are worth less than $30,000, but they're
if they're in excellent condition now, 40, 50 grand.
$20 a month. $200-$300 a year. Yeah, I am absolutely blown away by how cheap.
Well, part of that is the collectible aspect, right? If you have a car like that and it's made it this long, you're not doing stupid stuff in it.
And they'll
driving
usually
it into the ground.
They'll put limitations, they want your odometer reading once a year.
3,000 miles a year.
It's under 3,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
And then it's just so cheap. And if you're only using it, right? Think about it. I put about 10 to 12,000 miles a year, including commuting. If you commute for 1 or 2 months in the summer in your fancy old antique, you're probably only going to put 1,000 or 2,000 miles on it. You take a road trip, go up to Lava Hot Springs, come back, go down to Vegas and come back. Boom, that's 3,000 miles, right? You take a couple trips and you use it for commuting for a month or two, have fun with it on the weekends, and you're still going to be fine. Most people are oh no, I'm going to put more on it. And then 2 years go by and I'm you've put 1,500 miles on that car in the last 2 years. I don't know why I'm checking my watch, because that's how you tell how many years.
That's how you tell the odometer.
That's how you tell the odometer. Anyways, that's a fun little thing too.
I'm with you. And this actually, back to my monetize the life philosophy. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I have multiple cars now, is to keep the miles low. Mm-hmm. Because when you have the exotic cars, the cool cars, right, the high demand vehicles, after the first 4 to 5 years, when all of the leases are up on the secondary market and all those vehicles are on the secondary market now, they're not depreciating based on time anymore. They're depreciating based on condition and miles. So if you keep the miles on the car low, you command the premium when you go to resell.
Yeah.
And that was actually the secret for profiting on the vehicles versus...
That was that $60,000 difference.
Correct. I put 1,500 miles on the car in the 18 months.
Yeah.
Right. So I less than 100 miles a month. That was what positioned that vehicle to command such a premium when I sold it.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people, when they're leasing these exotics and performance cars, right, they're allowed a certain amount of mileage, or some of them they buy them and then they sell them back. And so when all those cars are on the market at 60, 80,000 miles on them, and there's 3 that have 15,000 miles on them, 10,000 miles on them. Yeah, that's going to command a premium.
Correct. So
especially if you've got some of these manuals, because a lot of these cars, they don't make manuals anymore. When you mentioned you had manuals.
It's all scarcity play.
It's exactly. Or you get certain extra packaging, right? You talked about this too. So sorry, I'm kind of stealing your thunder a little bit.
Go for it.
I'm getting the extra, RS with the spoiler and the whatever, and the turbo supercharge and all that with the manual. this is 6 combinations that are all very uncommon. They only made 3 or 4 others that had all of these options. So there isn't a way for someone else to get this unless they buy it from me.
Yep.
Right. This is a super specialized car.
Okay. So like even recent example, the Super Venom, right? So for Hennessy's making 91 Super Venoms. That's it. Just 91.
That's it.
They've only made 20 so far. Anyways, they're making 91 Super Venoms. And out of those, they're taking essentially Ford GTs and when I say Ford GT, I meant Mustang GT. And Dark Horse trims for the Mustang. So the GT and the Dark Horse is essentially the track-focused GT. Now, all of those, I mean, like, I don't know what the actual number is. I think it's about 85%. All Dark Horses are automatic transmission. And out of the Mustang GTs now, most of them are automatic transmission. So having the 15%. That might not be correct if most of them are automatic. I know that
probably are. Most people don't like. Most people don't like.
Correct.
A lot of manufacturers don't prefer to.
The Mustang is still making the manual transmission V8, but they're few and far between. Is what I'm getting at.
Because they're popular in the secondary market, but a lot of people don't like buying those from the dealership brand new. It's a weird thing like that I've noticed.
Well, and it's people that just don't know how to drive them anymore. So, anyways, the point is pairing a limited run 91 vehicle kit with a very few and far between manual transmission to begin with, I've created something that's very exclusive and rare.
What's the horsepower on it? Is it like 600?
850
or 850? Okay, cool. Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's a ton of power. It's insane. And it's a ton of fun.
And the chassis is more than 3,000 pounds.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
Just poking fun at McLarens.
Yeah. Although now, who knows what it actually weighs? Because with the Super Venom kit, right, they put a ton of carbon fiber on it, so it actually reduces a lot of weight. Really cool stuff. But yeah, you take essentially scarcity principle, something that's really high demand, high desire. The trim is awesome, that people love, they want it, and then you make it scarce. You keep it in excellent condition with low miles, and now it's an investment.
Yeah, and you still get to enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
Or a lot of it.
Okay, man.
Well, similar. I just want to hop off of that into a similar thing in terms of real estate, right? If you look at some of the places where houses are disproportionately priced, Highland, Alpine, right? You look at some of these places and you're like, wait, if this house was 10 miles away in Linden or Orem or American Fork, it would be like
half the price.
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily that. Yeah, essentially that dramatic. Just to make it simple, it's like, wait, this house is it's a 3,000 square foot, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths with a basement on a 1/3 acre. Okay, in Lehigh that's $750,000.
In Highland, it's 1.35.
Yeah, and you're like, why? People like being up in the mountains a little bit. They like that. There's only so much real estate in that forest. A lot more wet. They've got little rivers running through. It's not as dry and commands a premium. So same thing when you're buying real estate, look to those demand factors. And another thing that I like emphasizing, a lot of people are like when they're in watches or exotic cars or whatever, they're looking for screaming crazy deals. And I'm kind of a Warren Buffett guy in that one sense of, if you buy good companies or good real estate or good at fair prices, you're still going to generate insane returns, right?
Yeah, you're going to win in the long run, for sure.
I'm sure when you bought that first car that you sold for made $6,000 profit on, you probably didn't find, oh my gosh, this is $20,000 cheaper than anywhere else on the market. This is a fair price for a fair vehicle.
Correct. It was more expensive than a lot of the cars on the market, but okay. So when you look at that stuff, this is actually something that's really important to learn. It's not about getting the cheapest price.
No.
That's actually a really damning factor that will hurt you in the long run. You want to find the most desirable.
Yes.
You want to find the one that is
the best location for the Airbnb or for the rental property. The most desirable package options on those cars.
Think about it, man. You want to go, for example, you said Airbnb, right? You pick up a spot that's a high vacation area. Let's say you're like around Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to get the Airbnb that's walking distance from the front gate? Or do you want to get the Airbnb that's 15 miles away?
Mm-hmm.
No, man, you want the close one. You want the one that's desirable, that people who are vacationing there are going to use. It's the same thing with the car. You don't want to get a car that has low trim level. You don't want to get the car that has low or that has a ton of mileage and is super beat up. You have to get the one that's going to be the most desirable. And that means you when you buy, are often purchasing at above what you would see a worse condition, lower specs comp at.
Yeah.
So I think I was probably about $5,000 higher than the average market value when I bought the Porsche GT 3RS that I did. But doing that was necessary to put myself in a position where when I resell, it was going to be the best. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Simple as that. Okay, let's talk about why insurance matters for entrepreneurs, owners, the average, mom and pop.
Absolutely matters.
We talked about, kind of why you have it and what you're using it for, but let's talk about...
With auto insurance, right, you have to have it. You legally have to have auto insurance to drive. So obviously that's there. But you want to have the right kind of insurance, right? Like I have a lot of people where they are a business owner and they have 3 or 4 rental properties and they've got $50,000, $100,000 liability limits on their auto insurance, which is just insane. So just quick, very, very quick overview. Auto insurance is usually in Utah broken down into 3 numbers. Medical liability, so hit someone, they go to the hospital per person, medical liability total, and property damage. So 50, 150, it's only $50,000 per person you injure, maximum of $100K, and $50,000 for property damage. Dude, you scratch some cars, especially when you're talking about exotics and supercars, and you cost $50,000 of damage, right? Like it's so easy. And then what happens if it goes above that? They're going to sue you for those rental properties. They're going to see you're a business owner. Lawyers are going to be able to get tax histories and figure out how much value is. And they're like, hey, this business generates $300,000 of revenue. We know this guy has money. We can sue him for whatever we need to get.
Yeah.
So I'm always encouraging people to consider higher limits and potentially consider an umbrella. Umbrella policies are super cheap. I actually set up one for a guy the other day. He had 15 rental properties, maybe like 14. And it was a $2 million umbrella. So all of his properties each have a $500,000 or $1 million base liability. His auto insurance has a $500,000 base liability. And then he's got a $2 million umbrella. So he's got $2.5 million of liability for everything he has. Well, 2.6 on the autos, technically. I get caught up in the fine stuff way too much sometimes. But that $2 million umbrella, I think was like $1,500 a year, which obviously, right, $1,500 is $1,500, but it's like, that's $2 million of liability for like 14 properties you own. Each of them have $2 million of liability and your auto insurance, $2.5 million. Like the one umbrella claim that I've actually seen, brand new 16-year-old driver, ran a red light and was speeding. Someone died. Multiple people were very injured. It was like $1.3 million ended up being paid out from the auto policy and the umbrella, right? And obviously you can't replace the loss of a life, but they're not financially ruined because of one mistake. And that's the goal of insurance is. I want you to feel like you're protected or intentionally choose that. Because I have people that I'm like, hey, I think you probably should have an umbrella. And they're like, I don't think I need it. I'm like, that's totally fine. Here's reasons why I think you should have it. Here's some reasons why it might not be necessary. Make your decision. I don't care what decision you make. I am a guide and an advisor to what you need. Yeah. Regardless if you go with me. I have people that they send me their stuff and they're like, hey, my agent's recommending this. What do you think? Because I trust you. And right, maybe I'm not the best priced or whatever, or maybe they're out of state and they just want my opinion. And I do that all the time. Absolutely free. Email me, thefinancialginger@gmail.com, 801-216-8444. Send me a text, give me a call.
He'll answer. He's the agent that answers his phone.
I'm happy to look at your policies and make recommendations. Like I had one just the other day, real estate, Parker Eads. He's one of the Edge Homes reps. The 2 Parkers I look up to, Parker McCumber and Parker Eads. It's just everyone. I'm going to end up naming a baby Parker. Just love the name. Love the people. But he sent me a guy and he, like I suggest, get quotes from 3 agents. I was one of the 3. And I sent him a rate. He's like, hey, I found something that's cheaper. Send it to me. I said, that's fine. They only quoted you $100,000 of liability. Bump that to 500 or $1 million. Like this is a relatively wealthy business owner in Utah, right? He owns some like public utility type stuff. Well, not public, but anyways, he owns a bunch of stuff that people use a lot. So very, very wealthy. And I'm like, that's not enough. And if you don't have an umbrella, obviously you should probably have a commercial umbrella for your business, but also a personal umbrella. And then I noted a few things that he didn't have that I'm like, these are really common things that get denied because people think they're covered, but they're not. Ask him to add that on. If it's still cheaper than mine, Call me. And he sent me a text. He's like, yeah, look, they raised the rate to this. It had those coverages. Really appreciate it, man. I'm sure he's going to call me in a year if his rate changes, right? And maybe I'll get all of his other stuff too. He actually ended up having me quote a couple other properties that he'd bought recently and his auto insurance, and it didn't work out, but I wanted him to feel comfortable, and he does. So that's the auto side. Home insurance side.
Can we talk about how does it actually protect you? Like if you're, take Parker, for example, business owner, making tons of money. What does the adding of additional coverage actually provide someone in that position?
Well,
like, does it protect you from a lawsuit down the road? Like,
it usually doesn't protect you from a lawsuit. What it does is actually does protect your assets, right? Because if heaven forbid you get in an accident where someone dies and you have a huge liability exposure, you're not being, because courts can force you to sell assets if you have physical assets that you own. It's one of the reasons some people put properties in like trusts or LLCs and stuff to separation. But I've actually seen situations. Michael Glassford is a great lawyer here in Utah that does trusts and stuff like that. And he talks all the time about how judges all the time will throw out LLCs and they'll throw out trusts and they'll say, oh, well, this weird technicality, or you didn't set it up properly, or you didn't whatever. So get someone that's very competent to do it when you do it. And you have to actually treat it differently. Like I've seen things where they have the same bank account. You didn't have it wasn't separated clearly financially. We're not going to treat that as a separate entity. No, they're able to sue you directly for that property, even though it's owned by a trust or whatever. Like it's just additional actual protection for when something goes south. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's insurance, it's stupid. I agree completely.
But,
it is
okay, so here's my question.
Yeah.
You get in an accident. You have that additional liability coverage, right? Let's say that pays out. It's not stopping you from getting sued still, and then they come after more.
It is. So
okay, that's what I wanted to get to.
Yes. Auto insurance, home insurance, and umbrella. If you are sued, they are obligated if it is in relation to how that policy covers you, which is why you do auto and home and umbrella, because umbrella will actually cover weird situations that auto and home don't apply to. I had a situation where someone was in Europe driving a car, got in an accident. They thought their auto would cover them. Most auto insurance doesn't cover you outside of the United States and Canada, and sometimes like 50 miles into Mexico. Right. And it's territory. So if you're in Guam, you're fine. But they got in an accident and there was some weird technicality. I don't even think I fully understand it. Their umbrella insurance stepped in and paid for it. I was absolutely shocked. And again, I don't know if it must have been some really weird technicality because they should have had proper auto insurance and they didn't. And there's all these rules with umbrellas, but it did and ended up covering them in a situation that they wouldn't have been covered for.
So in theory, if you get sued, your umbrella can still take a chunk of that.
Your umbrella can take it. Well, they're obligated to, part of that liability expense is court costs and defense. So if like your dog bites someone and you get sued, your insurance company, your home insurance company actually pays for the lawyer to defend you in court. They actually pay the legal costs and things like that up to your limit.
So this is kind of really interesting and maybe where I want to take the conversation a little bit is like, what are all these things that I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If I don't know that, and I make it a point to know a lot of things, the listeners don't know that stuff.
No.
So Jacob, what are we missing, man? When can we contact our insurance agent for help?
You should be able to contact your insurance agent anytime, and that's what I'm all about.
But I mean, if I get sued because my dog bites somebody, like say a kid's cut through my yard, right? My dog bites somebody who's running through our yard.
Yeah.
I'm getting sued for that. I didn't know I could reach out to you. So when can they reach out to you that they don't know? What type of things do policies actually protect that we have no idea they protect? Who's leaving money on the table?
Yeah. And here's what I say. When something happens, just ask, right? I think people call me and they're like, hey, I had a contractor break a sprinkler in my yard and that flooded my basement and they disappeared.
Yeah.
Technically, they should have insurance beforehand. So I usually say, if you're not sure, just ask. If something happens, just ask. Because I've seen people where they just settle it and they never reach out to me. And then
that's what I'm thinking about.
So we had someone get rear-ended in a McDonald's drive-thru. Okay. The guy got out of his car on security camera footage, offered the lady money, like pulled out cash and was like, hey, I don't want to deal with insurance, offered cash. She's like, no, I want your insurance information so I can file a claim because I don't know how big the damage is going to be. The guy got in his car, jumped the curb and took off.
Flag.
Obviously, it's a hit and run. It's fleeing the scene. There's all these other crimes associated with it. But when it went to the legal side, right, her insurance paid for her car before they even figured out who the guy was. It took months to figure it out. Her insurance paid for it. And part of the reasoning they used for when they did catch him, and sorry, I'm kind of like blending things together as I'm remembering the story. Part of the way they were able to prove fault and liability for him was the fact that he offered her money.
Yeah.
Right. So when someone gets in an accident, I'm always saying, call me as soon as possible because people make mistakes all the time and then they don't get covered, or they're lucky because it was caught on footage, or there was witness that said, hey, he offered her cash. That's an admittance of fault. Yeah. You offer someone cash and then you take off or whatever, you've admitted fault and you've accepted liability personally by offering them cash for the accident. It's like, hey, I'm sorry, here, can you take this instead of us going through my insurance? Another situation I had recently, this girl that I insure, driving on the freeway, stop and go traffic at Thanksgiving Point, semi-truck in front of her, complete standstill traffic, backs into her. I don't know why he decides to back up in literally bumper to bumper traffic, gets out of his truck.
Maybe it's a manual transmission. He's rolling down the hill.
Maybe. Looks at her car, gets in his truck, pulls forward, and then reverses again and backs into her a second time.
On the freeway.
On the freeway. Two other drivers, she tells me, get out of their car to like yell at the guy to get out of his truck and give her insurance information and stuff like that. Like, this is on the freeway. Yeah. They finally like pull over to the side as traffic's moving. It takes a little bit of time. He gets out. She takes a photo of his insurance card. Doesn't call me first. I'm like, call me, just call me, right? Because I'm always going to tell you, take photos of everything. Take photos of the damage, take photos of driver's license. Always call the police. I don't care if it's a bumper scrap in Walmart parking lot. And the reason
Utah law on this is if the damage is estimated to exceed $1,000, then it's a requirement to call law enforcement. Now, most people don't know that, so I'm just saying it so people know it.
Yeah, but even if it's less than that, you don't know how much damage is going to be. I've had times where people say like
it's always going to be $1,000. Think about it now.
Yep.
Like what's the average new car cost? 25, 30 grand?
Yeah.
Okay. So you buy any car, the damage is $1,000. Period. It's not 1990 anymore. No. You can't go get your car repaired for $300. Yeah. It's going to cost you a freaking oil change costs $300 now. It's going to be $1,000.
Yeah.
So always call the police.
Always call the police. And here's so she did call the police. Okay? Because the guy didn't want to she got a picture of his insurance card, commercial insurance, right? Commercial trucking company. It doesn't have his name on it. It just has the name of the company and the insurance carrier and all that. Mm-hmm. And it didn't even have the vehicle because it was the trailer. It was the insurance for the trailer he was pulling. So it said 2021 blah 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 trailer. It didn't even have, so none of it. He gets upset when she asks for his insurance and says, hey, we need to call the police and get a police report. Gets in his truck and just leaves. Just leaves, right? Like pulls through, slowly goes through traffic. And she's like, I don't know what to do. Calls the police and the police are like, oh, well, you have his insurance information. You don't need to file a police report. Fast forward 6 weeks. She's called the insurance 1 million times. They're not getting back. She still hasn't called me. And then she finally does. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, I got in a car accident 1.5 months ago. I'm like, oh, what happened? She texted me pictures at the time and then called and I walked her through it. But she never let me know that all these problems were happening. Because I walked through at the time. I'm like, get a police report. She didn't tell me that the police told her not to file a police report. So all she has is the call log on her phone showing she called the non-emergency line, right? And I'm sure there's a way that they can get the call logs because, right, the police record their calls, but that might be a 3-month process. I've had times where it takes the police 3 weeks just to get the report filed, right? Not that police are bad. They're very, very busy. It's great that they do it. But the reason why it's so important to get a police report is it establishes that the accident happened. Yeah. Right? So part of this...
The event isn't made up.
Part of this 6 weeks... 2 weeks was just getting the insurance company to call her back because it's a commercial company out of like Illinois or something. Doesn't matter when you call, you're getting a voicemail or whatnot, and they call back and they're like, hey, what happened? Who's the driver? I don't know who the driver is. Oh, well, he's saying you just got it. Like this person's just saying that we don't even, and they won't tell her who it is because all she has is an insurance card and then photos that she took at the scene. She took a picture of her car and one photo of there, and thankfully had the license plate.
Yeah.
right? That showed so using license, they were able to say, okay, yeah, we insure that person. And they're like, well, he won't answer the phone. We need to get a story from him and verify. Oh, well, he did answer the phone the next week, but he's saying he has no idea what's going on. Like that never happened, right? And the police report confirms that happened. So it's ideal to get the police report because that establishes it happened. And if you're able to get the police while they're there, it establishes who's at fault. Now, worst case scenario, which is what's happening right now, she's going through her own insurance. This is another story. Some people think I got a really old car. It's only worth $2,000 or $3,000, right? I've got a junky 1996 Pontiac Bonneville that has no AC running. I have the car for my 16-year-old son to drive because I don't want him driving a nice car. It's liability only. Yeah, obviously it's not too big of a deal, right? It might only be worth $3,000. But if you don't have full coverage on your car, if you don't have comprehensive and collision, something like that happens and they hit and run, you have no recourse. Because you have only liability. Liability only protects other people that you harm.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that coverage on your car and you get hit by someone, you don't even have an option to go through your own insurance. And I'll tell you that. I'll be like, there's absolutely nothing I can do other than remove the car from your insurance. So it's not as big of a deal when you have an old junker car, but it's more important. I've had people that have like 5-year-old cars and like, it's a little old. I don't need full coverage on them. Or I'm like, how much is your car worth? $20,000. I'm like,
if it's worth anything, you want to have full coverage.
Yeah, you want comprehensive and collision. But anyways, so here's the second option. Because the other insurance companies being uncooperative and saying, oh, well, we can't verify the claim even happened. There's no police report. All you got is a photo. You could have taken that online. I'm like, the photo clearly shows that truck in the middle of a freeway. Like there's cars on both sides of it. You can see all the red lights in the photo. Like how is that not proof? Anyways, insurance companies are ridiculous. I hate them just as much as everyone else. But we were able to go through her insurance, right? Just being deductible. They're fixing the car and they will go and subrogate. Subrogate's a term for insurance companies suing other insurance companies. They usually do it out of court, which is why they call it subrogation and not suing. And then once they get that money back, they'll reimburse her deductible. So it's not the end of the world. It's just if she had contacted me, I could have walked her through that 5 weeks earlier, right after they took a week to answer the phone and get back to her. I could have been, hey, this is taking a while. Let's just file it on your insurance. It's going to be so much quicker than waiting for them because you never know. I've had times where it takes 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half to get something finally settled, especially if it's like an 8-car pile up. And so having that on your insurance, going through your own insurance, they're not gonna penalize for you. The only companies that really penalize you for not at fault accidents is like Geico, Progressive, maybe like Root, but yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
We had a lot, man. Let's talk about the business.
Yeah, business insurance.
I was going to talk about business in general. The business. So Financial Ginger,
yes.
Jacob Insures Utah.
Podcasting.
Yeah. Let's talk about, I mean, obviously everyone on the show now knows that you do insurance.
Yes.
Jacob Insures Utah.
Jacob Insures Utah.
But let's talk about what's working, what's not working.
With my business?
Are you growing? What's up?
So
how can we help a young budding entrepreneur learn from us right now?
Great question. Because yes, I'm definitely not where you're at in terms of all the entrepreneurial stuff. But I have about 500 clients right now. And the goal is to add 1,000, 1,500 is technically the goal, but I set a sub goal personally. You made me set the goal for 1,500 this year, and I don't know why I'm struggling so much to accept the 1,500, but
go big.
At least 1,000.
Other agents have books of 3,000 people. Why can't Jacob?
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
There's no reason not
it's
to.
It's because I have my name out there. So that's part of why I'm excited about doing the podcasting, which has been going on for like a month and a half now, and I'm already getting clients from that. So what I really love about using the Rookery and podcasting is I get really cool guests on that I have fun conversations with. I get to show the people that I'm listening that are listening, hey, here's this plumber who's just does an awesome job and he's the little guy, right? Or here's this builder that represents this big company or a little company, realtors. And what's awesome is they end up sending me referrals, right? They're like, hey, I'm closing on 5 houses. One of them is being delayed because the insurance is weird. Oh, well, I just was on a podcast with Jacob. Have them call Jacob.
Do it.
Yeah. Or one of them, he's a property manager. Manages 3,000 rental properties. Dude, he's sent me, I've known him for years and years, Emil. He sent me quotes every once in a while. Like, every couple of months I'll get 1 or 2 that come from him. He sent me like 6 since he was on, like in like the 2 weeks after he was on my podcast. So
well, it's front of mind.
Just having cool people on, putting out content daily or a podcast episode weekly or bi-weekly or however it works best for you and your business and your time.
Yeah.
It's getting my name out there because you're right. There is no reason that I shouldn't have 3,000 clients right now, especially as how long have I been doing this, but it's just because I haven't been getting my name in front of people, right? And so being on people's podcasts like yours, having my own, connecting with those entrepreneurs as well, it puts you in the front of their mind. And then I'm doing more than that. So I've got like a Facebook group for people that have been on my podcast where it's like, hey, if you need a referral in the business aspect, ask this group, right? And as that grows to 50, 100 people, it's going to be an active community. It's already got people asking for stuff in it, which is really, really fun. And then, right, I've got the Financial Ginger channel, and I'm going to make a Ask Financial Ginger guest stuff. And it's just growing more community and more visibility. It's helped. In fact, last night, I didn't text you this. I was at the movie theater seeing the new Avatar film, and I got stopped by a guy. It was like, hey, you're that podcast guy all over Instagram. I see you're the insurance dude. You do insurance. And I'm like, that's cool. I mean, I had it happen once at Seas Candy, but it was the studio manager. It was Bart. He saw me at Seas Candy and was like, hey, Jacob. Right. And he's like, I recognized your voice. And then he obviously saw me. But yeah, for that, I'm like, that was cool. It was like my first like moment. I'm like, hey, I was recognized in public as the insurance guy. Yeah. Right. And he was like, you're the guy that knows all about auto insurance and home insurance. I'm like, that's all I want people to know. And then yeah. So it's been really good doing the podcasting and creating the content and having guests on to be able to grow as, right? Because someone's on. So what I need, I'm not 100% sure because we've been doing some coaching on it. I think I need to do more solo content. You talked to me about that. It's like, hey, have a couple episodes where you just, right? Or get a friend to just lowball some basic stuff to you so it kind of still feels like a conversation rather than just you talking to the camera.
We're working on a strategy for you with that too.
Yeah. Well, it's great.
Maybe it'll be one where we sit down together and we film and I'll ask you just questions and it's all off the cuff answers. Yeah. We're working. Bart and I are in the lab.
The other thing, right, that I've really loved is your coaching, the Mission Ready systems. I've been able to offload because I'm an office manager, right? I've got 7-8 other agents that I manage, and I've been able to, using some of the systems you've taught me on, is offload some of the stuff to them and being like, hey, I need you to handle this. Hey, I'm not going to be in the office as much because I'm going to be filming a couple times a week, blah, 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 all that stuff. Pushing that onto them has freed up more of my time. And it's also helped me elevate the expectations from them. It's like, hey, I'm going to start getting quotes that are more than I'm, because I handle a lot of my own stuff, but I funnel it to them too. Yeah. Like, I'm going to start funneling a lot more to you guys. And when that happens, I'm going to start compensating you more for that, right? It's like, hey, if I bring in, 1,000, 1,500 clients, that's 100, 150 a month. I'm obviously going to increase their workload. And so I'm like, hey, it's going to get harder. It's going to get more time consuming. I'm going to pay you for that, right? So it's fun figuring out the structures, but yeah, the big thing is just funneling. But you've even told me this, right? It's like, hey, it's a 90-day runway. Right, you start doing content on the regular, right? You're not one of these entertainers, right? You're not someone that's hoping to go.
Yeah, it's not the hard part.
The goal isn't 15 million views.
Correct.
The goal is 3,000 clients, and this type of content isn't going to get 15 million views, right? There's not right. It's not the funny haha videos that people are going to watch for 5 seconds and scroll on, right? But those people aren't selling a good or service, right? So it's different goals, right? A lot of people ask, oh well. Right, like the goal is 1 million views. I'm like, why? 1 million views doesn't mean 1 million clients.
Yeah. So actually, that was kind of funny. Yesterday, you had Kenyon in the studio.
Kenyon.
And he asked me on the way out the door. He's like, "Well, how many views do you get?"
Like, I get more views. And than you do.
I told him, I'm like, it's not about the views, man.
It's not about the views,
right? So I might only get a few hundred views on a podcast episode.
Yeah.
But I can directly tie $80,000 in revenue this year to the podcast.
Yep.
And because of that, I'm like, so I'm working on the top of funnel too, right? Nobody's perfect. There's always more to learn. I'm working on the top of funnel, get more eyeballs, help drive more traffic to the podcast. As I refine those processes, I'm going to keep sharing those processes with you guys. But people who are concerned with the vanity metric, like how many views do you get, they're going to be woefully unimpressed with, the 50,000 views my content gets in a month.
Yep.
But it's out earning theirs.
Mm-hmm.
It's directly monetized, my coaching in the podcast studio, and now we're getting more leads to the podcast studio. I'm getting more leads for the coaching business. So it's not about the views.
Yeah.
It's never been about the views.
I'm in some Facebook groups for
it's
content
about make
creators,
more money.
And I see some content creators that they're like, in the last month across Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, I had 10 million views. And they're like, and I made $3,000, $4,000, right? It's like, okay, then it's not nothing wrong with that, right? It's like, cool, you made $50,000 a year. If you keep that up, it sounds like it definitely goes up and down.
40 grand a year.
Right? But it's like, okay, but that's getting 3, 4, 5 million views. And I know some people that they're getting 1,000 views a month and they're making 80, 100 grand off of
Bart's okay if we talk about Bart for a minute. So I've done a lot of business with Bart for the last several years. But one of the things that he had told me was, he's really good at getting million views.
Oh my gosh. And his reels are so good.
He makes great content.
He has one of his videos from just a month ago. It was that Mazda, the Miata, Miata with the glow. It had 4 million views 2 weeks in on just Instagram.
But he's not getting paid for it.
No.
So the thing is, you've got to find a way to build trust with the community that supports what you offer.
Yes.
And that's where the money comes from.
Get paid.
So people always lose their mind when I tell them but my podcast is generating a few $1,000 a month. It's
Or for me, right? It's let's say, right? Because I'm at the beginning start. Most of my podcasts have 60 to 120 views. Okay, but I'm already getting clients from that, and part of it is I'm getting high trust relationships with the people I'm having on my podcast, right? Some of the people I have on my podcast, I've known for 15 years and they've known me from day one of doing insurance for the last 7 years. Yeah. In fact, it's 7 years tomorrow is how long I've been doing insurance to the day. And they've never sent me one referral. They never sent me one client, right? Maybe I did a quote for them once 5 years ago or whatnot. Yeah. And now I've done quotes for them and 6 of their clients. Right? Since they were on my podcast, I'm okay, even if that podcast only got 100 views, I still got 6 clients out of it.
Yeah. You're getting leads.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing that people don't understand that I think they should understand, right? Podcast marketing is the future. And the reason it's the future is you build a lot of trust. I keep saying that.
Yes.
The reality is it showcases who you are, one, as an individual. It showcases what you know and the value that you can actually provide to people. And it puts you and them in a position where they can see how you think, how you interact with others. And that's what builds that connection and that rapport where they're like, oh, yeah, Jacob's approachable. Yeah, let me just send him a message.
Yeah.
So I'm so bullish on podcasting. Oh, man, getting a phone call during the show. I didn't put my phone on silent like we were talking about earlier.
That's okay.
So the point being, I'm big on the podcast. I'm big on YouTube, and we've talked about it. I've maybe shared it on the show, but the omnipresence of it all, right? I do long form everywhere that podcasts are hosted. I do long form everywhere that I put it on YouTube, right? And then I use short form content to actually drive views to the long form, right? The short form is what's going to gather their attention. Maybe they get a clip or a reel or something that they're like, oh, that's interesting. But then you drive them to the long form where you're answering their questions, you're building that rapport with them, and that's where the trust is built and the client acquisition machine engages. Yeah. So what I'm working on, we were just talking about it, is the system that helps you, that top of funnel. How do we actually get more views on the short form to drive more traffic to the long form? Yeah. And I think in the next month or so, we'll have a really good system in place, and it's just going to be
monstrous.
So actually, after our episode today and coaching, we're going to go into some test footage to start playing with some of this stuff. Oh, it's going to be good. I'm amped.
Just going back to what you were saying about building that, right? People need 3 things to work with you. They need what you're buying. They need to know who you are, and they need to like you.
Yeah.
Right? If they don't need what you need, okay, who cares, right? That's what I'm saying. Who cares if you get 1 million views if it's all people in India and you only sell in the UK, right? Who cares if you get 1 million views if it's all this and you only sell to this, right? With base business, right? You want to approach and be seen by entrepreneurs. Okay, well, there's I'm using probably old data, 330 million people in America. Okay, only about a third of them are considered self-employed. So 70% of them right there are that.
Out.
And then, well, it's technically only 40% of them are children. So boom. And then, right, like you narrow it down, you're like, there's probably only like 3 or 4 million entrepreneurs that are in that type of, right, more than just a solopreneur that like actually have employees, right, that you're trying to market to. So if you get 1,000 views on a video, you've reached a significantly higher percentage of the actual market than someone who's gotten 1 million views doing funny haha, which is nothing wrong with funny haha. I love funny haha, but you have to think about what the purpose of what you're doing is. And so, right, like I said, I am the best insurance agent in Utah. There's no doubt about it. Okay, but the problem is I've got what everyone needs. If they don't know who I am,
correct,
they can't like me to use me, right? So I have to create content. I have to do marketing. Like if you are a business owner and you are not putting yourself out there, the only way you're going to get it is by paying for ads, which there's nothing wrong with that, but that's a lot more expensive than organic growth. And it's not going to be as long-term because you have to pay every time you want another client or you want another person to call, you have to pay and pay and pay. If you create content, that's going to become a funnel that's gonna keep lasting, right? And it's fun. You get to talk to cool people or interview your employees.
Show what you know. Build relationships.
Job sites, and it's like, yeah. Or I love seeing those like gardener people where they're like, I go around and I clean a yard for free. This is my lawn care company. Give me a call if you're in this area.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm also doing it on YouTube. And it's fun because I get to do charity this way, right? I'm helping people for free and it's attracting clients.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with that? Like people are like, oh yeah, but it's like they're actually giving someone a free service, cleaning up their yard, trimming it. Like it's amazing work that some of these people do. And they're building their business at the same time. What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with doing good and getting good. So you need to have social media. You need organic content.
There's actually, it's this huge myth, and I talked about it on a previous episode with Chance Mansfield about if you build it, they will come. No. They can't come if they don't know you exist. You could build something that's amazing, beautiful.
People exist for a reason.
And you've got to generate the lead. And like you mentioned, you can either generate the lead through organic method or through a paid method. And paid method, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're competing with everyone else who's paying for those eyeballs, right? The organic method is you're refining and targeting and reaching through algorithms the people who are going to most resonate with your content and your message. So if you can continuously put good content out through your podcast, through your YouTube, through your shorts, your reels, your clips, you're going to eventually reach the people that is designed for and engaged with. You just have to do it consistently.
Yep, consistently. And here's the other thing as well is doing the content keeps people engaged, right?
Yes.
I have a couple of insurance agents that they always are preaching, you don't lose business because you're a bad agent. You lose business because your clients forget who you are. If they don't know who the hell you are, right?
It's blowing me up. I sent him a message.
No, you're good. If your clients don't know who you are, right? Because maybe it was a referral, right? Maybe it isn't like you're like with insurance. A lot of it at the beginning was me just reaching out to friends and family and people that I knew. But then it comes to, hey, my dad needs insurance, right? So now it's a third party that knows me. It's not quite as personal. They need to remember who I am. So if they see me on social media,
we're look at this awkward. I'm getting phone calls, so I'm just gonna be like, I can't talk to you right now. Here's
we're live. Yeah. So that's why I like the organic content. I was actually talking with a realtor, Deborah, who should be starting up her podcast in the near future. Is doing that keeps people engaged, especially when you have a longer sales cycle like real estate.
Yeah.
Right. For her, it's going to be an absolute bombshell to be in here because all of our clients who've ever bought a house from her, you love your real estate agent. I bought a house with Deborah and absolutely love her. She's the best. She showed up like 2 days after giving birth with her baby strapped to her chest to look at a house with me. Like that's the sort of commitment she has. She is so committed and cares about her clients and cares about her kids. So she's there. And so having that, of course, I'm going to follow any social media I see from her. She posts a couple times on her personal page and then just that, it's going to grow. She's going to see those clients. And then next time those clients buy a house, they're not going to go to a different real estate agent. Oh, who do I know right now?
No,
they go 2-3 years.
You go to her.
They're going to say, I've been seeing Deborah's content for a year and a half.
And it's top of mind.
Exactly. They're always in the forefront and engaged, even if it's weekly, right? It doesn't have to be constant. It should be daily. But for some of those stuff, just keeping
different things.
Your client, you're not going to lose them.
Right. So like your long form is maybe weekly.
Yeah.
And then your short form, maybe three times is educational. And then maybe 3 times is personal. Right. So you can vary your content a little bit to appeal and build relationships in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've had times where some of my content is me talking about, right, my suicidal past. I've had times where some of my informative, like get to know Jacob stuff is me talking about my faith in Jesus Christ and how important that is to me, to doing good and being good, get good, be good, get good. Right. And I've had some of it where it's like, hey, here's the 5 different parts of your basic parts of your homeowners insurance coverage. Here is the basics of how you file a claim. Here's what you do after you've been in a car accident, right? So like mixing in the informative content with the here's how you get to know me. And then also showcasing my clients. It's like, oh, this is an interesting podcast. Honestly, there's all these, I've seen 4 or 5 clips and it's different people talking about real estate and talking about investing and talking about life insurance and talking about health insurance. It's just useful generally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Guys will just look at this and think, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's make sure we clip this and put it at the front of the episode. Right on, dude. Man, you've provided a ton of value to me, to my audience today. What can I do to provide value to you and your audience?
So this will go into our coaching, but I am absolute dog shit at setting aside time for the direct messages. I'm just not doing it. And then I saw Emily Shetterly's posts from the last couple of days.
Oh my gosh, she is crushing it.
She's like, you know what? Fuck hiring a salesperson because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm just going to do it myself. And she's like, I'm loving this. I did 200 cold calls today. I went and knocked on 87 doors. I had 3 conversations in people's house from those door knocks, blah, blah, blah. I sent 150 text messages to former clients. I'm like, holy crap. Like, so I see stuff like that and I feel guilty. And that's the problem. I need to not look at it in a bad, good. It's just, this is what I do, right? I wake up and go to the gym. It's not a question of how I'm feeling.
You do it.
Exactly. I need to build the system of.
You have a little bit of self-discipline. You hold yourself to do the hard thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing with the messages.
It's like you were talking about at the very beginning, right? It's like, if I'm going to say I'm going to do it,
I'm going to do it.
Fucking do it.
Yeah.
Pardon. I'm so sorry. My mom's going to listen to this and cry.
Okay, so I was not your episode, our coaching. Okay, so sometimes I look at our coaching clips and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should clip this up. This could help other people. Oh man, Jacob, it is hard to clip some of the stuff with you, man.
Why?
Because you look right at the camera and you're like, F this stuff. I'm like, oh, Instagram won't like that.
Dude, just bleep it. I actually bleeped one of my podcasts.
I gotta bleep it.
I actually did.
Was it a good performer?
One of my shorts, I think it got like 1,800 and yeah, so it was pretty good. I think the top ones I've had, there was one that was close to 3,000 and the top performance are usually about 2,000 views in the first week. That's usually when I check base.
Yeah, but what's your follower base, you know?
Yeah, it's like 250 right now.
Yeah, so you're doing great for that.
And it's doubled in the last 30 days. It was like 115 in the first couple of weeks.
So here's the other thing that you got to do. I mean, as part of the organic content system, right? So you're putting out good messaging, right? But the platform will punish you. All of the platforms do this if you're not actually using the platform.
Yeah.
So you still got to log in to Instagram, and you still have to like and engage and comment with other people.
And I reply to comments on my social media.
It's not just likes. It's leaving comments on other people's posts to draw attention to your posts.
And I'm not doing that very well.
Yeah, but that's the doorway to some of the messaging too. So you can do the messaging from people who engage or interact with you, and you should, because if they engage or interact with you, they're raising their hand as someone you can talk to. Mm-hmm. So send them a freaking DM and just like, look, and I've been very upfront with you about this process. Maybe it's 80%, maybe it's 70% that don't even acknowledge your message.
Who cares?
Whatever. Who cares? Who cares? You didn't have business from them already.
Yeah. All I lost
but maybe
was a couple
30% become leads. And out of those 30%, maybe you write quotes for 10%. And out of those 10%, maybe you get 50, policies.
60%.
Yeah. Maybe you get five policies out of that. You got 5 new clients from sending 100 messages.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
That's the reality of it.
So just do it.
Yeah.
Hold yourself to the discipline for it.
You even showed me, you're like, Jacob, I took an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, guess what though? Sending messages, people going and replying to your messages counts as them taking an action on your page.
It's engagement.
For like Instagram. It's an engagement that helps promote your page.
And I've had good engagement. Like when I actually did it for like 2 weeks, the 2 weeks where I actually went hard, I met 3 or 4 wonderful people. I had several of them on as guests. I have some I still talk to them.
And you want to keep doing that so that you keep getting more guests.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Like, what's your goal for podcasts this year? 50 episodes?
104
podcasts.
104 podcasts.
2 per week.
2026. Yep. 2 a week, every week.
That's madness. Where are you going to come up with all those visitors, all those guests?
I'm already booked out to February. I'm already booked out to February 15th.
You got to send the messages.
But I got to send more messages.
You got to engage.
And I've also got to schedule some solos.
Maybe you book through June. Maybe you can book through June with people you know and that you have. But at some point, you've got to keep adding people.
Yeah.
So you got to have more relationships, connections. And to be honest, I meant to say this earlier and I forgot to say this. People that you want to have on your podcast, you want to have your dream client on as your guest.
Yes.
If you have your dream clients on as your guests, right, they are the people that you're subconsciously trying to build relationships with. So the listeners, the viewers relate with them better. And that makes your content all the more effective.
Well, yeah. Well, I've had 2 recordings with guests with current clients. You were one of them. I've got a 3rd one coming up. I do need to book more of them. And part of it, I just need to use my email list. You may need to generate email. Just send an email. It's like, hey, if you're nearby, I would love to have you on my show. Give you a gift card for coming in for your time, just to say thank you for being willing to come and talk. And I just want you to talk honestly about your experience with me. Share good, share bad, share ways it was different than your previous. Like, I just want it to show people what it looks like working with and what it's been like. One of the guests that I had on the other one that wasn't you, he was in tears at one point talking about his daughter getting in a car accident, falling asleep at the wheel in California, and just being like, I just called Jacob and he told me what to do. Right. And I'm like, that's, I mean, obviously, yes, it's a good social media clip, but the reason why I'm doing that social media is because I want people to see the difference of working with me. Right.
Yeah.
It's not, yes, it's about money, but I genuinely enjoy people having a good insurance experience. I have had stressful moments in my life where I can't get hold of someone.
What's the actual goal? Right. You talked about the 3,000 people, but it's helping them with what?
To feel safe, to feel secure, and to feel like they can get a hold of their agent when they need them. That's the goal. It's threefold. Feel safe, be safe, have a human you can talk to.
Yeah. You're taken care of.
Yeah.
So to me, really what it is it's a goal of caring for others.
Yes. Because each person that writes an insurance policy to me, it's not just a money exchange. I mean, that's part of it. I'm facilitating money exchange between them and the insurance company as a broker, but they're trusting me with their kids. They're trusting me with their house. They're trusting me with all of their familial possessions, right? I mean, my wife's house burned down when she was a kid. They lost everything, right? So that's a weight that's on my shoulders that I want to take off people. And you see that. I see people where I write the exact same policy, but because they understand it better after we talk through it, that weight is off their shoulders. And I love feeling that. So that's what I'm passionate about. It's not, I want 3,000 clients because I'm going to make money. Duh, I'm going to make money. I want 3,000 clients because I feel good in life by helping people feel safe and secure. That's what it's all about.
Dude, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, you said it a couple times already. Where can people get a hold of you?
People can find me on Instagram. Financial Ginger is my podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Jacob Insures Utah. Also on Facebook at those same 2 places. You can call me 801-216-8444. That's my office line. In fact, for your podcast, I'll also give my personal line. So if you want directly me, I mean, that one, it rings to me after hours, but 801-500-8710, you can shoot my personal line, text or call, especially for the listeners of Base Business. Anyone in Utah, it's right.
This episode's going to go viral now.
Oh, it's going to go viral and 1 million people are going to be texting me on my personal phone, which is fine. Totally fine. Most of my clients, before I launched the podcast and started using that as the special secondary number, have my direct cell phone anyway. So I've got 500 people that already have my cell phone. I don't care if you've got it too. But so I've got the 2 lines. Also, both emails, jacobinsuresutah@gmail.com for insurance quotes. If you're interested in my podcast, or I'm always looking for guests in Utah, anything finance related, thefinancialginger@gmail.com. So hit me up any of those ways, or DM me. I'm active on Instagram, Facebook.
You got to consolidate it and make it easy for people.
TikTok.
You got to give them like 2 things. They can call or text or email or something. Like, you give them too much, man.
500-8710. Call me.
And if you don't already, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
We'll see you on the next one. Outro music. Ba-ba-dum-bum. Ba-ba-dum-bum.